The sale of Declan Rice this summer is the one that's going to dominate for a while, isn't it? I'm getting a bit exhausted with it already as a fan. I'm sure you can all join me in that. It's just one of those. I kind of just want to see it done. Ideally, go to the club that we want him to go to. As I've said, my preference would be I don't want him to go to London club. I really would rather him go away. It would feel like a bit rubbing. I just don't like the idea of it too close to home. But look, it is what it is. Whatever's going to happen with Declan, obviously, Arsenal at the moment are like the favourable club and most likely one he's going to go to, but that's still not set in stone. However, what it's doing, the Declan thing, it's because he's such a big player and big fees we're talking, it's going to provide a hell of a lot of money for West Ham, let's be honest, and it's going to put us in a strong position in terms of financially where we can go and buy other players. And obviously the big question mark is going to be, who do West Ham get in? Who are the club going to now go to? Because you can't replace Declan. You can't. There's no player out there that can just go, I can do what he does and do it at the same level. That's just never going to happen. But what you can do is get a very good, defensive midfielder in to fill his void. You could then use the extra money to go and buy another winger, another striker. We can use this money well. So, but the main thing is most like I'm thinking of is who do we get in? Who's gonna partner Paqueta in that midfield now? That pairing. Edson Alvarez is the player that's been identified exclusively by XWHU employee on Patreon. Patreon, if you're not on it, please do check it out. Patreon.com/the West Ham Way. It's fantastic what you get for your money on that. But you do get exclusive news from X, and he keeps you up to date with what's happened. Now, he broke exclusively a week or so ago about Alvarez, saying that he was the sort of target, the player that West Ham are really interested in. But Borussia Dortmund are considered the front runners at the moment, I believe. Well, actually, that's not true. Let me reword that. Borussia Dortmund have been very keen on the player. I think the player had also been very keen to go there. But West Ham have now jumped in. And want to make an offer to the player. What I understand it at the moment with this move, and we've reported this on the site, so I'm just having a quick look at our article here, what X actually said. Okay, this is at the time, okay? He said, we face stiff competition for the likes of Dortmund, who the player is reported to prefer, although this isn't actually confirmed. West Ham have made their interest known and further talks are expected. Now, I believe that with Alvarez, that's looking now more likely. I think the West Ham have got far more financial power, not in terms of just to also purchase the player from Ajax, but also to offer the player a better wage, so we can probably sway the player to come back to the Premier League. That's looking really positive. This is a player that's very highly regarded. Mexican international, 25. This is what, the perfect age is what you want, and highly regarded defensive midfielder. And the reason I like it as well, South American, I like that. Similar to Paqueta, you kind of get feeling that would be quite nice, a Paqueta Alvarez midfield. It's looking likely. I'm now, it looks like West Ham theoretically are closing in on the signing. We can get this over the line. It's interesting because we've got so much change going on. We've got, we now know the manager's staying. That's something that's confirmed, and that's likely now. That's done. So Moyes will be the manager. But you've got this director of football coming in, which we've reported on. But I believe this is the main player that we want. This is the main midfielder player that we're after, and it looks like we're the front runners to get him now. I'm really excited, okay? I'm really, really pleased that we're getting things done early, that we're identifying the players that we want and we're honing in and getting them. I think it's looked good. I'm really impressed with how we've done this director of football thing. I know it isn't concluded. As I recalled this, it hasn't concluded. Maybe it has by the time it goes out, but I like the way we've done that. I know there's a little sense of professionalism in the way we're doing things at the moment. I quite like it. We're playing hardball with Arsenal over Rice, correct? We should do it all. We shouldn't be bullied into where that's going to happen. But obviously, we want that kind of put to bed, don't we? We don't want to be... this Rice thing dragging out all summer. I just want to get it done, get it sorted, get what we need. Hopefully it goes to another club. To be honest, I'd like to know your thoughts on that. But also, I'd like to know your thoughts on Alvarez, because that is for me. All right, let's be honest. Not many people know. I wasn't sitting there watching Ajax all last season. I do know of him, but I've then watched more of him, and I think that he fits the mold really well. I think it's a very, very exciting appointment if we can get it over the line. But as I say, at the moment, West Ham are the front runners. You've got a couple of others as well I want to touch on. Harvey Barnes. That looks likely, doesn't it? It's looking really likely, the Barnes one. I think West Ham are clear favourites there. We worked early to get him. I talked about this with Riley a while ago. And I was quite surprised, actually. He wasn't overly supportive of it. I mean, he does like him. He said that he does like him as a player, but he was a bit, I'm not sure because he's too similar to Bowen. I think it'd be worked brilliantly. I'd love the idea of Bowen one side and Barnes on the other. I really do. It's something that really excites me. It feels like West Ham are doing what we should be doing. One, behind the scenes, where we're sorting ourselves out. We're getting a director of football in. We're getting a bit more professional. We're getting someone in that plays the money ball side of things, which I like. I'm excited by that. I really am. And that's Tim, is it Stuyvesant? That's looking like it's likely. Which, if we pull that off, that is a coup for West Ham. Big time. You know, they're big clubs after him. That's the director of football I'm talking about. I like that. But I like the fact that we seem to be... We're not dilly-dallying here. We're not sitting back and going, well, let's wait till the Rice deal's done, then we'll go to the market, we'll work out what we want to do. It's like we're going, no, we identify the players we want. We know the players we want. We want to get another winger in, Harvey Barnes. We want to get a defensive midfielder in, Alvarez. We're going to get these deals done. The striker thing's a bit of a up in the air at the moment. We'll come to that another time, but I'm pleased with this. Alvarez, though, looking like it's looking likely. And in fact, I believe we're the front runners.